All new episodes of Mike Tyson Mysteries air Mondays at 10:30, 9:30 Central on Adult Swim. You see, Mike Tyson is done with boxing, and now the champ and his team, a talking pigeon, a ghost, and his adopted Korean daughter, are out solving mysteries, just like Scooby-Doo. He's even got his own mystery van. You can join Mike as he punches dinosaurs, leprechauns, and astronauts on the moon. The all-star voice cast includes the real Mike Tyson, Norm Macdonald as the talking pigeon, and Jim Rash from Community. So watch Mike Tyson Mysteries, Mondays at 10:30 p.m., 9:30 Central on Adult Swim.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want to battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man!
Jermey Guthrie, you got to get close to that mic. You got to vomit into that mic.
Well, I don't have a little screen like you, so
I don't know why.
Sure
I think I have a screen because I spit so much when I talk.
It's like you're singing like Bieber.
Never say never.
And never say never.
Jermey Guthrie, pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. First of all, you tweeted earlier today that you were more nervous now than if you were pitching OD. I don't know what OD means.
It's not overdose, thank goodness. Never pitched overdose, although we've read that does happen.
That does happen.
Wow.
Overdose. In Jim Bouton's Ball 4.
Does it talk about it in there?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's all whacked out.
Yeah, not surprising.
What does OD mean?
Not overdosed, but it means opening day.
Oh, really?
Opening
Were
day.
you the opening day starter for the Orioles?
I have been 3 times.
Who was it this year?
This year it was the Tampa Bay. Here come the Rays!
No, who was the pitcher?
Me.
Oh, okay. So the last 3 years was you?
No, last year was Kevin Millwood. The 2 years previous.
That's fucking bullshit.
Well, you know what? It happens.
I know you don't swear. You're a nice Mormon boy.
I'm not going to be swearing on the podcast.
You don't have
people
to swear.
Don't stop listening.
You don't have to swear. So you pitch opening day in Camden Yards.
This year was against
the Rays.
David Price and the Rays down at the Trop in St. Pete.
Is that a shithole?
You know what? It's become one of my favorites. So I've climbed up onto those catwalks. You got to come down sometime. We do catwalk races. You run all the way around. If you can make it in a minute and a half, I'll give you $100.
I'll make it in a minute and a half.
And if you fall,
I don't even know what it is, and I know I'll make it.
Come on, you see it on TV. Those catwalks up in the sky.
What? So
you ain't. Well, we'll see.
So you like pitching at Tropicana Field?
I don't like pitching. I just like going there.
But pitching there, because everyone knows people that play there. You know, they have to like beg fans to come to Tropicana Field, and then they hand out like cowbells to simulate excitement. You can just bang your cowbell in the audience. It's like giving away rally sticks behind the free throw line.
Cowbell is probably my second favorite thing at a stadium.
I need more cowbell. Jermey Guthrie's on the mound. Let's distract him with more cowbell.
No, they only do the cowbell with 2 strikes for the home pitcher, and they go nuts with it. All 2,500 of them just go absolutely nuts with the cowbell.
Have you pitched in Pro Player Stadium or Marlin Stadium?
Never pitched there, but I did pinch run there. Scored the tying run in the 9th inning.
Was that an interleague game?
Yeah, fast guy.
You were drafted by. I get a lot of criticism for going all over the ice, and I get sidetracked so easily. But I want to go back to Tropicana Field.
Yeah, don't leave Trop. Don't leave the Trop because there's plenty to be said.
Is it just like a mausoleum? Like, why don't people? It's a really good team. And it's an exciting team to watch, and it's a great pitching staff. Like, you got James Shields, you got David Price, you got Hellickson. It's a team worth watching. Why don't people in Tampa go see these people play baseball?
Well, people in Tampa don't go probably because it's a little ways away. It's about a 30-mile drive. So,
Yankee Stadium's in the South Bronx. It's in the ghetto.
Yeah, but you can jump on the 4 train.
Yeah, but you're going to the ghetto in Tampa. You're just going to another part of Tampa, right?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know why. I like the venue. I
Make
like
something up.
I pet the Rays out there. They should come to pet the Rays. Go at least pet the Rays. Go to the Trop.
Like David Price?
Pet the Rays.
You just sneak up on David Price when he's shaving and you just pet him?
No, you out in the right center field. They got the Ray tank out there.
No, I know what you meant.
And I've only lost a few fingers out there.
That was a little fruity, Jermey Guthrie, knowing that you're just petting Johnny Damon's beard. petting the Rays?
He doesn't have a beard anymore.
You're like, hey, Kelly Shopper, can I talk to you for a second? And he comes up to you and you just start petting his belly.
Let me tell you something. My favorite thing about the Trop is before every single game, they have like this crazy mix. Their radio guy or their announcer guy makes up some little jingle to introduce the game.
Really?
And so every single game, it's like, last night it was the Rays versus the O's. And they plucked the feathers of the birds. Now the birds are looking to fly back home on a positive note, but they got no wings. Watch the game now. Next. I mean, it's
Is it the radio guy?
I don't know who it is, but it's the funniest thing ever. So for now 4 years, I've tried to impersonate him, and we try to come up with, based off of the night previous, what they're going to say about the thing. And when I warm up on the mound on the left field line, if you ever come watch me at the Trop, you will see me straddling the rubber. I'll be warming up, and they'll start this little intro. I'll immediately look towards the scoreboard.
He says it in the in-house announcement?
Oh, yeah. It's right before they take the field. And so I'll be warming up, and they'll see it. I'll see it up on the board. I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll straddle the rubber, and then when it gets to the part at the very end where he goes, next, I'll mouth it with the entire bullpen watching. It's the greatest part of the whole game.
And all 1,400 Devil Ray fans in attendance go crazy.
I mean, one of my favorite ones of all time. I mean, 3 years ago, we're playing the Rays at home. Carl Crawford's on first base. And one of our pitchers, I don't even remember who it was. I think it was Bergeson. Does a pickoff move, fires an absolute bullet over there. First baseman probably never even saw it coming. Hits Crawford right in the nuts. I mean, smacks him right in the nuts. He's on the ground, rolling over, front and back, screaming.
Did the pitcher go, you could charge that to the game?
You could charge that. So he hits him. He's out of the game. We're down by like 4 runs. We come back and win it. So
Kyle Crawford left the game with a bad nut. I'm going to do Harry Carey this entire. Kyle Crawford had to leave the game hitting the groin with a pickoff attempt. You know, he's going to have a swollen ball. Ball won the grace.
So next day I'm thinking about, if we were at the Trop, because we were at Camden Yards, what would they say? What would they say?
That guy.
What would that guy say? And everyone's
What's
looking at me
his name?
like, what would you say? What would you say here? I said, this is it. I said last night it was the Rays who jumped out to the early lead, 4-1, but Carl Crawford took one in the nuts, and the O's came back. Watch now as they try to defeat him again. Next. I mean,
for those of you listening, sense. I just stood up and I mouthed next, and the other 3 people in the room got really excited that I played.
I promise you, this is like on Twitter. You make a shout out, and all of a sudden you get a few extra followers. The Trop should have plenty of extra fans next year because I've just revealed one of the greatest secrets in baseball.
They're a radio guy. I get XM strictly for Opie and Anthony, Ron and Fez, and the baseball package because I'm like a fantasy baseball lunatic, even though he beats me every year. Matt Frost over there. Sportsrobe.com. Sportrobe.com. We'll get to that in a second.
I've got one. Kevin Millar has one. George Sherrill. I mean, amongst many, many others. Those are just Orioles who rock the sportrobe.com.
That's right. Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, say it again. Sportrobe.com.
No, I really forgot what I was going to just say to you. All right. So pitching opening day. Do you remember what I was just saying, man?
George Sherrill?
No, he said George Sherrill.
Something about the Trop.
God, I have a
the radio guy. The radio guy.
Thank you very much. The MLB package. All the Twitter people are going to be like, you need Jeremy Guthrie all the time because he keeps you on track, JJ. The radio guys, when you listen on XM, it's the local guys. And all the new guys are just god awful. They're all like copy and paste and, Jeremy Guthrie, they're terrible. But every once in a while, when I listen to like the Rays, for some reason, it's a super old guy that does their radio home games. And it's Harry Carey-esque. And I was driving with my wife to Vegas, and I'm listening to a Rays. I had David Price on my fantasy team, and I'm just listening to David Price, hoping he eats up innings, get the strikeouts. And there's this weird long pause where you can hear like 2 pitches go by. Like you hear the pop of the mitt, you hear a little crowd ambiance noise, and all of a sudden the guy goes, "It's a jungle out there." And we just both started laughing like, what the? This is not TV, where like you see a shot of somebody dressed as a tiger. The guy just took a half an inning up. It's a jungle out there.
I'm sure he fooled a lot of listeners on that one.
Why do you wear number 46?
46. I was, originally I was with the Indians. And I wore a number of different numbers, whatever they gave me. I kept getting switched out. They kept bringing a new guy who wanted my number the year previous. So I go over to the Orioles in 2007, and I show up in spring training, and this is a real anticlimactic story, just so you know. I show up in my locker, beautiful locker down in Fort Lauderdale Stadium, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
I heard about it. It's real nice. It was all titsed out.
Yep, I got 2 lockers next to me, and boom, 46 is in my locker, and I put it on my back, and I haven't taken it off.
So they assigned you number 46.
Yeah.
What number were you before that? Wait, I bet he knows. I bet Matt Frost knows. 52?
57. If you could count, you'd have been right on the money there. Count the other
watch
hand.
it, fella.
Count the other hand, too.
Look, I might not be Asian, but I'm smart enough.
You're a catcher's worst nightmare with the ability to count fingers right there. You're a catcher's worst nightmare. I swore you put down a 3 for a slider. I just put down 1, Jay. Oh, yeah, that's why the fastball hit you right in the neck. My fault, Matt.
Matt Wieters.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. I only did it once this year. You would have done it.
But you had different numbers your whole career. How come?
My first year I got called up, I was 53.
Did you choose that?
No.
Have you ever
It's kind of
chosen a
taboo.
number?
In baseball, you take what they give you. You get grateful for being up to the big leagues.
There's a lot of guys that come up and they're like, yo, man, I got to get my 10.
There are a few guys that want their number.
Adam Jones got to win number 10.
I didn't want to be that guy. There are a few of those guys. But so they gave me 53 in September of 04 when I made my debut. Came back next spring training.
Indians.
That was for the Indians. Next season I come back and we had signed Arthur Rhodes and he likes 53, has worn it his whole career. So they naturally took it out of my locker and they gave me 36.
He looks like McGruff the crime dog, Arthur Rhodes.
He does. You know what? Actually lives in Baltimore.
He actually solves a lot of crimes. He goes out there and hits the street. He's
crime dog?
He's a peacemaker.
You know, there are a few peacemakers. Played with a couple of them. Scott Sauerbeck and what's his name?
Good old what's his name?
Oh my gosh, probably my favorite baseball player because of a scenario that happened to him. But what is it? Crazy Carl Sadler. These 2 guys tackled a purse snatcher in San Francisco and got on ESPN and the whole thing for it.
Were they pitchers or real players?
Both were pitchers, relief pitchers, lefties. So that's probably why they went after the thief.
Are you upset that I said real players? Because pitchers aren't real players. They only play every 5th day, right?
We may not be. I mean, we're on vacation most of the time.
Did Arthur Rhodes give you anything for the number?
No, you know what? That happened. That's kind of a custom.
Give you a quick stiff right hand to your face. That's what he told you, right? I'll tell you what I'll give you, young man.
It's a tradition, but it's usually when the player has worn it for a significant amount of time in 1 month and 4 days.
You could have said, look, I was born on the 46th of May.
You know what? Honestly, I gave him the thank you. I didn't like 53. I said, thank you for getting me a new number, which was 36. I got called up again in September, wore 36. Next year I come back to spring training and we had signed Paul Bird, free agent. And so he wore 36. Paul Bird takes 36. I get 57.
For Paul Bird stinks.
Well, you know.
I know you're not going to say it, but Paul Bird stinks. Everybody knows he
Paul
stinks.
Bird's a great guy.
I don't care if he's a great guy. When he's on the mound, it's a 50-50 proposition. That's not what you want.
Well, you got to have the numbers to back that up.
Now, let me ask you this. A guy like Paul Bird, who's a journeyman, average, below average pitcher, this is what makes you interesting to me. You're interesting. You're funny on Twitter. You came to my attention when I was hosting the Jim Rome show. People tweeted me that you rock out to like NSYNC and Justin Bieber before games. And then you and I started talking on Twitter.
Why don't you tell me what you said to me?
I said, you got to rock out to.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
First thing you said to me was, why don't you, on your radio show, because I got phone calls on this.
The Jim Rome show.
On the Jim Rome radio show, I get phone calls that says, hey, do you know who Jay Mohr is? I said, yeah, Bob Sugar. He's all, no, I said, whatever.
But what did I say?
You said this guy needs to worry more about pitching and winning games than about listening to Backstreet Boys and Bieber.
You're damn right.
Absolutely.
I was right.
Nailed it spot on.
And I said to this poor guy, Jermey Guthrie, who's an above average major league pitcher, twice you've led the league in losses. And it's not fair because you got asshats like Paul Bird walking around with a 10-11 or an 11-10 record their whole lives with an ERA of 5.8 or 6. And here's a guy, Jermey Guthrie, with 17 losses, but his ERA is always like right at 4. And for those of you that are like, you know, not into baseball, it means you're a good pitcher. So it's just, I'm sure it confounds you way more than it confounds me that you're on the mound, you give up 2 runs and you take the loss. How do you not sit in the dugout halfway through August and say, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Hit the fucking ball, Vlad. Hey, Vlad, 20 million a year? Put one in the seats, asshole. I'm pitching my dick off out there, you fucking prick. How do you not say that?
Well, first of all, I don't swear, to reiterate. So I mean,
all right. Fair enough.
That's the start to that. Second of all, I do like Vladdy.
We all like Vlad.
Yeah, well, you know what? So I'm not going to yell at the guy.
Yeah, but when he has 10 home runs, you're like, well, why don't you have a couple of them when I start? Weeders. Have you ever spoken to a teammate like, hey, could you get me some runs today?
Adam Jones.
Really?
I tell him to clean it up because he tells me to clean it up when I suck. He's like, clean your crap up. But he doesn't say it like that. You almost
cursed.
I didn't almost curse. Why? Come on.
But when you suck, you're still better than most of the guys. Not most. You're better than, I'll say, you're definitely, when you're bad, you're better than a third of the Major League Baseball pitchers. Would you agree?
I've never looked at it like that, but maybe.
Like when you're bad, like there's guys that go out there and just take shits on the mound every fifth day. Like the Mets, the guy from the Mets who set the record for most consecutive losses, Anthony Young, like he was like an actual piece. He was garbage. But you're a guy like, they know when they send Jermey Guthrie on the bump every fifth day, they know our guys out there, you're their closest thing they have to an ace, the Orioles, right? You're the opening day starter. They know they got a shot. But for some reason and what is this with some pitchers? When you pitch, everyone's bats fucking go to sleep.
You know what? It's a funny game. But
I don't think it's funny if I'm pitching my balls off and everyone's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. They're doing the goddamn Bugs Bunny routine up there. And the other pitcher is some ham and egger they just called up from Fresno and he 2 hits the Orioles. How do you not look at the rest of the guys and go, look at the game tape! He's a bum! Swing the bat, Markakis!
I don't want to get on base.
How do you, for real, there has to be a moment when you're up like 14, 15 losses on the season and you've only given up 3 runs and you went 7 innings and you go, that you go back to the dugout. You got to look around. Be honest. There has to be moments where you look around and want to go, seriously?
Okay. Maybe once a year I really snap when I think about that it could have been a lot better than it is. Maybe it's once a year. Bases
loaded, no outs. You gave up, let's say you give up a 2-run homer in the first inning and then you've gotten everybody out since. It's 2-0, other team. And then your team, the Orioles, like 5th inning, bases loaded, no outs. And you go, here we go. I'm all set up. Strike out, pop out. Vladdy goes down swinging. When you go back out on the mound, are you like, what am I doing out here?
The answer is no.
But I should be Rick Ankiel and switch to center field.
Once a year I do get pissed off though. And I usually break a bat or swing something into
Where do you do it?
Down below.
Why? What are you playing a submarine? What do you mean down below?
In the
Orioles yacht?
Down the bat room.
Down below in the Orioles.
Down in the bat cave.
Down below in the Orioles yacht.
Oh shoot. We have these,
are you on the bow or stern when you break the bat?
I'm in, I don't know.
Now you break the bat out of frustration at the team. And if you get uncomfortable, we can edit anything out you don't want on the podcast.
Okay. I'm not uncomfortable.
When you break the bat out of frustration, I know obviously you're a guy that gets frustrated at himself because you're a wired winner. You're an Eagle Scout. You're an Olympian.
Wow, Olympian. You just added that to my resume. Sweet.
I just saw a picture of you in a USA jersey.
Doesn't mean I'm an Olympian.
Weren't you in the Olympics?
No, I played in the World Baseball Classic.
All right, you're a World Baseball Classicin.
There you go.
Right?
Olympian. You know what? I actually swam the 100-meter breaststroke.
You did, right?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did with Michael Phelps. He taught it to me.
A Japanese guy?
Big Oriole fan.
Michael Phelps?
I don't know. He just lives in Baltimore, but I don't know if he necessarily is an Oriole fan.
He looks a little odd. He looks like Fred Gwynn from the Munsters.
I think he likes the Yankees.
I think he likes...
Michael, you listening?
I think he likes bong hits. I think he likes a lot of the hippie lettuce. I think Michael Phelps reps about 3 or 4 bong hits from his Orioles skull bong, and then he gets in the pool baked and just makes believe he's a dolphin.
Some strong beliefs.
No, I know. I actually have the tape. I'm selling it to TMZ. So when you break a bat, to get back on point here, are you breaking a bat because of is it just the inability? And this happens. Every team has one hard luck pitcher that goes out there and they just don't hit for the poor guy. And meanwhile, I remember when Matt and I were going to Yankee games. Matt Frost is here in our little studio audience.
Sportrobe.com.
And Frosty the Showman in fantasy sports, or the New York Negotiators in football. But Matt and I used to go to like a ton of Yankee games, and you would get like a guy like Bob Wickman who would give up 8 runs a game, but they would always win 9-8. And the guy would be like 15-12 on the season. His ERA would be 6. And then you get a guy like Jermey Guthrie, whose ERA is like 4.2, and you got 17 losses. when you're breaking the bat, do you ever think, I know you won't name a name, but are you thinking of a particular guy? Like, how did you not drive that run in and take me off the hook?
I'm usually pissed off at myself more than anything. I'm usually just mad at myself for giving up runs.
There's got to be a guy that's no longer in baseball
That you hate?
that you thought, why is this guy on the 25-man roster?
There's like 10 of them. I'm going to name them.
Yes. Come on. There has to be.
I only know 10.
Like Matt Noakes, old catcher from the Yankees.
Jeez. Will you please name a player in this podcast that's played in the last 15 years?
I know.
Jeez. Bob Wickman started his last game in 1993.
But you know it.
Well, I played with him. He was a closer.
Oh, this is what I want to ask you. You got drafted by the Pirates.
And then Mets. Don't sleep on the Mets.
Who drafted you first?
The Mets.
The Mets drafted you. Speak up. The Mets drafted you first, and you didn't do it.
I did not. I did not sign.
And then the Pirates drafted you.
2001. 97 out of high school by the Mets.
So the Mets, in 97, the Mets drafted you in the 15th round.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
So that means your signing bonus is like $600, and you get to...
No, it was bigger than that. It was actually a good story. This was before cell phones. So I was in English class, senior year, June.
In high school?
My dad gives me the brick.
You're in high school?
Yeah, I'm in high school. My dad gives me the brick because I might get drafted, right?
What's the brick?
Big old cell phones, the bricks.
Oh.
And they call them the brick. So I'm at school.
Where?
In Ashland, Oregon. Ashland High School. Leanne Wallace, Mrs. Wallace is senior English.
She was so hot.
No, she was not. Come on. Great lady.
She was so nice.
Great
What did I
teacher.
say, hot? I meant to say nice.
Great teacher.
Miss Wallace was so nice.
Hey, the phone blares in the middle of class. At this point, I'm the only person in that school with a cell phone that day. Guaranteed. It's not 2011.
Like when Michael Douglas gets out of jail in Wall Street 2 and they hand him that big chunky phone back?
Exactly. I had that phone.
The beeper from Casino.
I borrowed it from him when he was in prison. And so the phone rings. I pick the thing up and walk right out of the class. And she gives me the look of death. It's the San Diego Padres on the phone. They said, "Hey, Jeremy, we want to pick you in the 3rd round. We're going to give you $350,000. Can we pick you? Will you sign?"
Holy balls.
I'm like, come on. I said, I just learned about, past tense or how to use a verb. I
just learned the Canterbury Tales.
I just learned the Canterbury
I'm learning
Tales.
Chaucer. A gig.
I just read ATOTC. A Tale of Two Cities.
I was going to say, I think that's a porn.
I know you're on the cliffhanger right there. I take the thing out. I tell him no. I say, I can't commit to that. I got no agent. I got no Kevin.
Matt. You look like a Kevin. So you, at 17 years old, you told the San Diego Padres, I don't want more than $250,000. I'm going to ride this English class thing out and see where it takes me.
I was going to let it roll.
I'm going to see where this English class takes me. You never know. I might wind up taking my SATs. Might wind up in school. So you told them no.
I told them no.
Did your father spank you?
No, he didn't spank. You know what? I actually thought they might say, "Oh, how about a little bit more?" They said, "Okay, thanks," and hung up. I said, "Okay, well, that didn't work out." That was my negotiating tactic, right? Like maybe they offer me a little bit more right there.
I do it all the time.
They hung up. So I get a call later on. A couple hours later, the Mets say they picked me in the 15th round.
So 3rd round pick.
Dropped to the 15th round though.
So then the Mets go, well, he's still on the board somehow.
Yeah.
Now, do the Mets know that the Padres picked you and you turned them down?
They didn't pick me. They were trying to. Because
in football, they know exactly the war room, what's going on.
I doubt
too
the
many
Mets
rounds.
knew. I doubt the Mets had any clue.
Because it's too many players to keep track of.
Too many
right?
rounds. 50 rounds, 30 players around. They don't keep track of everybody.
So the Mets just look up and go, oh, this high school kid's still on the board. We should grab him.
Yeah, exactly.
So does the brick ring again?
No, the brick doesn't even ring. The brick rings like 5 hours later after school's over, and they said, "Hey, we picked in the 15th round."
But you're still holding the brick.
Yeah, well, the brick's
Are
in
you
the
holding
backpack.
the brick in anticipation of another team calling, or are you holding the brick because you look swag?
At this point, I'm just holding the brick because I'm swag. Only kid to ever leave high school by 19. I was the first kid in Ashland High School to probably walk out of a class with a cell phone in his hand, ringing, no less, loud. Wasn't even on vibrate. They didn't have vibrate back then.
Have you heard the song "Vibrate" by Rufus Wainwright?
No.
It's great. I'll write it down for you later. Do you want something to drink? You look nervous.
I'm just constipated.
Diarrhea. Diarrhea. Remember Channel Park?
Yeah.
How come you had to come out of the game? Diarrhea.
He said that?
You didn't see that?
No, I saw him drop kick somebody once, though.
That was awesome. When he was on the Dodgers,
Yeah.
some guy got chippy with him. He did a spinning fucking shinobi kick.
Almost as good as the guy that in AAA kicked the catcher before he charged the mound.
That was awesome, too.
That was cool, too.
It's all on YouTube. You can look this shit up. But Chan-Ho Park was asked, why did you have to come out of the game in the first inning? And he goes, diarrhea. And they all start laughing, and he's just looking around. He has no idea why that's funny. It's like, you asked me, and I answered. He goes, diarrhea. Diarrhea. I don't know what diarrhea. That's what it was. So you have the opposite problem. So the Mets call, and are you now talking to the Mets on the brick?
No.
How do these teams
home phone?
How do these teams have your father's cell phone number?
They send the scouts everywhere. And then they ask you the day of the draft, they call before and said, hey, if we're going to pick you, we might need to talk to you. What's a phone number we can reach you at?
And he said, do you want my home number or do you want the brick?
I gave him the brick because I was going to be at school. I was thinking big, early rounds. I was going to be at school.
When you were in high school pitching, were you hypersensitive and hyper aware of the fact that there were scouts watching you pitch?
Well, yeah, you knew. I mean,
did they tell you?
We had just as many people as they have at the Trop, so you're going to notice when the scouts are there.
And did that make you pitch better? Did you get in your own head like, let's do this? Scouts
am I really making fun of the Trop?
No.
I don't know. They might have had more fans than us this year in Baltimore.
It's pragmatic. It's pragmatism that the Tropicana does not draw a lot.
Why? I honestly, if we check the stats and I love the Baltimore fans, and I know they'll come back once we start doing something good and we can earn it, but I don't know that.
Once you get C.J. Wilson in that Baltimore Orioles
Wouldn't
uniform.
hurt.
Is that collusion if I talk about it?
No, because you mean nothing to anybody in baseball. I mean, so you can talk about all you want.
That's not true. Buck Showalter's a personal friend of mine. I got him pregnant. So the Mets call. What's their offer?
You know what? They flew me out to New York, spent some time with the team.
Can I interrupt real quick?
Yeah.
That is the most horrible negotiating ploy the New York Mets could ever do, is to fly a young man to Queens and show him around.
No,
like, what better way to drive people away from your team? Look, it's Queens. Look at this shithole we call home.
No, they showed me a great delicatessen.
Wow, that's great. As opposed to Tropicana, they could have showed you the beaches in the Gulf of Mexico.
And the catwalk.
Yeah, the catwalks.
I threw a
Padres, you could have went out to San Diego and been completely overwhelmed. Instead, they bring you out to Shea. They show you that cement block that was Shea Stadium. They go, look, when there's a home run, when you give up a home run, a little apple will come out of the hat. You're like, I'm in.
I'm all in.
Did they give you a numerical figure?
Yeah, I think when it was all said and done, I think it was about $550,000.
So how is the offer more in the 15th round than the third round?
Because free negotiations.
You were playing hard to get at this point.
No, I wasn't even playing to get. I was just planning on going to college.
So that's why you didn't sign with either team, because you really wanted to go to college.
I really wanted to go to college, and I really wanted to go on my church mission.
Because you're a practicing Mormon.
Correct.
Okay. So that you knew going in, you knew when you had the brick in class that no matter who called, no matter what the offer, you were going to eschew that to go on your Mormon mission.
Well, yeah. I just
Which
didn't.
kind of makes you a dick.
No.
You wasted everyone's time.
No, not at all.
What do you mean not at all? You got teams calling and you're like, yeah, I don't think so. I want to go on. Why don't you say, hey, call me in 2 years when I get back from Spain when I'm knocking on, hola, senora, Latter-day Saints. I want to talk to you about Gabriel's horn. And then 2 years later, then we can start negotiating. If you knew you weren't going to sign with anybody.
You don't understand baseball. You could tell them that 50 times.
Don't tell me I don't understand baseball. All right?
You could tell them that right to their face. They'll still draft you. That's just the way it is.
But you brought the brick. You're not following me. But you brought the phone with you.
Well, I had to bring the phone to tell them no.
No, you brought the phone because you wanted to know that number.
I brought the phone because I wanted to be cool.
Fair enough. So the offer, you might be the only guy I've ever heard of that in the third round gets offered $350,000, and then 12 rounds later, his price goes up by $200,000, $250,000.
Maybe I had a good summer. I was later on in the summer.
Oh, it wasn't later that day?
No,
I'm like, man, you must have pitched your balls off that afternoon.
Oh, yeah. I had a great fourth period.
I was gonna say, between English and phys ed, man.
Hey, you know what? We just talked to your physics teacher, and you had a great fourth quarter today. You finished strong. You're going to get an A in the class. We'd like to offer you $550. Would you take it?
We read your term paper. Your bibliography we've never seen anything like it.
Your Wikipedia?
No, that was pre-Wikipedia, when you had to put all your stupid sources at the back and you'd lie. And you just make stuff up that the teacher couldn't trace.
I would have never.
So you turned on I know you're a good boy. You are like a super good family guy. We talked earlier today, and you turned down the Mets, $550,000.
Yep.
And now so that was the Mets were first at 97. Then who was first? The Padres were first.
the Padres called me first. The Mets
in 97. Then the Mets called you a few months later in 97.
No, they drafted me the same day.
The Mets
you don't want to go down this. This is a long road.
No, the Mets drafted you.
Make it quick if you go down this road.
We'll make it quick. The Mets.
Okay.
So you did sign with the Mets?
No, I didn't. I didn't sign with them. They offered me $550,000.
You said no, and then you went on your
said
morning
no.
mission.
I went to BYU.
Oh,
got
okay.
blasted all around the mountain, the WAC. So we can talk about that. But
that means you got people hit the ball a lot when you pitched.
Back then, I got a lot of run support. I actually won a game against the Utah Utes. I went 5 innings and gave up 11 earned runs and got a W. Yeah. That's WAC baseball, literally.
So, did you know you wanted to pitch in college when you turned down $550,000?
Well, yeah, I knew I was going to pitch there. I mean, actually, I wanted to.
You knew you were going to BYU to pitch.
I actually wanted to go there and be a quarterback. That was my whole dream. I was going to walk on and be a quarterback.
You would have been a star.
Oh man, I would have been good. And they had like
Japanese Mormon quarterback at BYU.
I would have been the first Japanese quarterback since Jim McMahon at BYU.
Was Timmy Chang? It was very good. Thank you. I almost missed it. Wasn't Timmy Chang from Hawaii half Japanese?
Yeah, he might have been Chinese.
Oh yeah, Hawaiian and Chinese.
But I tell you what, I used to watch Timmy Chang playing in high school at St. Louis when I was a young kid growing up, and we'd go to Hawaii on vacation.
Too many towns. We're confusing everybody. Listen. So who drafted you that you signed with? The Indians.
The Indians. And that's
in
like
02.
7 years later.
22nd round.
No, 22nd pick.
You were the first round pick.
Come on.
And you signed for 4 years, $3 million.
It was a 4-year, $3 million bonus with a 4-year, $1 million contract.
I don't know what that means.
Just think 4 years, $4 million.
Okay.
At the end of 4 years, I had $4 million paid to me.
And how old were you when this happened?
Oh, I was drafted at age 23 that time.
And now you have a college degree.
Well, I'm still short on that too.
Really? Right now you are?
It was then and still am today, but I'm only 1 quarter short.
Well, let's get, Salt Lake City. These are my people. The Mormons love me when I go up there, the wise guys.
Well, I'm going to go graduate at Stanford though.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, you're right. This is it's like Lombard Street.
It's a long road with a lot of twists and turns.
It's Lombard Street.
It takes me an hour and a half when I tell the story like to a group of kids to tell the whole thing. So
all right. So the super fast version is you finally signed with the Indians for 4 years, $4 million.
There you go.
Then they tell you to kick rocks and you get picked up by the Orioles.
Absolutely. The phone call. You know what? The phone call happened January of 2007. I am on my way to a Justin Timberlake concert, opened up by Pink. Oh, the Future Sex Love Sounds concert. Greatest tour of all time. Period.
Really?
Period. Justin Timberlake is the greatest entertainer.
He's funny too.
Oh, he's a talent. He's a phenomenal. He could probably pitch better than me in the big leagues right now, guaranteed.
You're a big fanboy of these boy bands.
Man, do I ever love it?
If I didn't see pictures of those 3 beautiful kids and that super gorgeous wife, I would go, I think Guthrie might be a little...
And a $3 bill. You know it. So I'm on my way.
There might be a little Alamo.
Well, here's the story. I'm on the internet trying to get my tickets. I say, babe, Jenny, are we going down to the Timberlake concert? We had planned it for months. Let's done deal. We're going to drive down to Vegas. And she tells me her sister's pregnant. Her sister's due the day after the concert, so I can't risk going. And she kind of looks at me like maybe I'd stick around too and support the family and the possible birth. I said, okay, well, I'm going to go by myself then. So I jump in the car.
That's how much Justin Timberlake means to you.
Absolutely. So I'm in the car driving. I get the phone call about halfway there. I mean, this is a great day. This is a great day. It's Mark Shapiro, GM of the Indians, and he kind of has this low voice and this sad tone. He says, Jeremy, we got to sign Trot Nixon. We just got him.
Oh, that's right. You got blown up for Trot Nixon.
We just signed Trot Nixon, and we need a roster spot for him. And I don't know how to tell you this, but we're gonna have to release you. We're gonna have to designate you for assignment, and you may be with us, but if another team claimed you, you're gone. I said, absolutely, Mark. Well, that's good stuff. I appreciate that. I apprate the 4 years.
He's a good guy,
else.
Shapiro.
He is. He's a great guy. I said, I appreciate, you giving me an opportunity. You giving me a lot of money to play, for the Indians. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but, I appreciate it.
But I'm on my way to Timberlake, so I can't talk.
That's exactly right. I said, let me call you back tomorrow after the Timberlake concert.
Is that true? Please tell me that's true.
It's partially true.
You're the conversation. Oh, so I'm getting cut. Bringing sexy back.
Yeah, you know what?
Bringing sexy back.
Oh,
you didn't even care. Were you blasting Justin Timberlake on the way to the show?
No, you know what? I didn't even have, at that time, the only song that I knew was I'm Bringing Sexy Back. The album was out.
That's the one I just picked. Then.
Yeah. The album was out.
As my kids call
it, it's the Go Ahead Be Gone song. Go ahead, be gone. So I'm at the concert a couple hours later, and honestly, it was a good thing for me. It was good to move on to a new team, have a new opportunity. My time with the Indians had run its course.
You're not a big drinker, right?
No, I'm not even a small drinker.
So you're not even like going to the concert like, well, forget you, Indians.
No.
Give me another genuine draft.
Ironically, I actually saw a teammate from the Indians there.
Who was it?
Dave Risky, relief pitcher, with his wife. So he gets a little bit of a pass, but he agrees. Best concert ever.
No, he doesn't agree.
Yes, he does.
There's no way there's not a Bon Jovi concert there for him.
Bon who? Come on.
You love boy bands, and that's why you got on my radar. I was guest hosting the Jim Rome show, and everyone's like, yo, your boy Jermey Guthrie. And I like how anybody, like, to get into the conversation, they go, hey, like, if I want to talk to you about Kimbo Slice,
your boy,
I'd go, hey, your boy Kimbo Slice is staying at the hotel here. And you'd be like, wait, what? But on Twitter, you're like, oh, really, my man? So they said your boy Jermey Guthrie listens. There's a whole article because Jason Stewart, who's the great, he is so great on the Jim Rome show of setting you up to succeed when you guest host. He'll email me like weird, like everyone knows who won Monday Night Football, but who knows that Jermey Guthrie before every start rocks out to NSYNC and Justin Bieber. He's a believer.
Backstreet Boys.
And the Backstreet Boys. Like, that was an actual article he sent me about you.
That was on Headline News. I woke up one morning in San Francisco playing the Oakland A's, and I'm on Headline News for my music taste. And they had highlights and everything.
But how old are you?
32.
You don't think it's odd that a 32-year-old grown man is rocking out in his car like, oh, where are we going? Pachanga Casino? All right, get my Backstreet Boys CD. We're going to do this right. Road trip.
The only decision is which one.
Never say.
Am I going to get Never Gone? Am I going to get This Is Us? Millennium, Black and Blue.
You got to go with Millennium every time, though, right?
Well,
I have no idea what this means. I just took a shot.
Millennium. You don't know Millennium album?
No, because
Come on.
Penis.
It came out right in 1999. They have five of them.
I like girls.
They got five
I like
of them.
vaginas and boobs, and I like to listen to Jane's Addiction and the Rolling Stones. And I told you to listen to Unchained by Van Halen via Twitter.
Hey, you promised me a win.
You got lit up
botched
like Charlie Sheen
on national television. The Fox Game of the Week. I decide that's the day I'm going to come out to Unchained by Van Halen, which, by the way, sucked. It was terrible. My apologies to Van Halen. They're tremendous.
That's the theme song to the podcast.
Well,
as you know, because
not
you
this podcast, or it's over. Not this podcast.
You won't change it.
Oh, absolutely. You will. You're right.
Unchained, nothing stays the same.
Well, I got unchained in about the second inning on a 3-run blast by Longoria, and I got re-unchained in the fifth by B.J. Upton. 7 runs later,
B.J. Upton couldn't hit water if he fell out of a fucking boat. Why is he hitting bombs off of you?
He can hit.
His brother's tremendous.
He can hit 97, which was the velocity of the pitch after someone's warmed up to Unchained.
Hold on, braggy boy. There's no way. There's no way you're telling me on this
97
podcast
fast?
That you're running it up at 97 miles an hour. Because then you'd be a closer.
Is 97 fast? It wasn't fast enough, Jay. It got blasted to right center field.
How do you know?
See ya. Home run. Okay.
How do you know that wasn't?
There was an old dude in Tampa on a radio that day said, "Oh, it's like a jungle out here at Camden Yards." He was asleep, heard the loud crack of the bat. B.J. Upton sends a ball into right center field.
I think 97 was the speed of the ball leaving up.
No, as Dustin Pedroia so eloquently says, 95 coming in, 105 going out.
What you can throw 97 miles an hour?
I can throw 98 sometimes.
Do you know when you throw a pitch, the difference? I'm being serious. Do you know the difference between like 92 and 96? Like when you go, let's say the guy just takes a pitch and you just throw it to Weeders behind the plate. Can you tell the difference in your velocity, those 4 miles an hour?
Yeah, but before we get to that, Unchained sucked again. Just want to reiterate that. Yes, you can tell the difference.
You're a fucking mental patient.
You can tell.
I said you wouldn't swear either, by the way. You swore twice.
When did I swear?
You said suck. It's a bit of potty mouth.
Yes,
I don't think
you can
Brigham
tell.
Young would approve.
You can feel.
I don't
the
think
difference.
Joseph Smith is in his grave going, "This sucks." He's making the best of it.
He's making
the best of it.
Unchained. You know how the song goes. That's how.
So you did actually go out to the song.
Yes,
but think of all the fans.
Listen to this. I put on Twitter that I'm going to warm up to Justin Bieber, Never Say Never against the Red Sox, and guess what? I won. And the Red Sox are good, and we were not very good, and I was sucking. Ooh, that word again. And I beat the Red Sox with Justin Bieber. Actually, you know what? I was up 4-0. We lost the game. But I didn't give up any runs.
You got a no decision.
Yeah, I got a no decision. It was 4-0. I came out after 6 innings and we lost.
What's it like as a pitcher when you have like a 3-0 lead and they bring in a reliever and you watch that guy piss it away?
Yeah, it's not good.
It must be really hard to not really personally hate that person on the bus and then to the plane to go across country, and you just look at some guy that just was dicking around on the mound and gave up your lead and just cost you a W, and you're like, this guy? I could have stayed in and done that.
That does make you mad. You're right.
It does, right? That's worse. What's worse? That? I think I know the answer. Or the team not hitting as a group when you pitch.
I think you know the answer too.
It's that guy pissing away your win.
Yeah, that's not good.
Is there a guy that's no longer in baseball that you can remember pissed away several?
No, unfortunately, they're still all in baseball, Jay.
No, but is there a guy? Is there a guy that pissed?
Hey, they're all still in baseball. That's the news.
Is there a guy that has specifically a guy that has pissed away several of your wins? Like when you comes in, really?
Yes.
You're not going to say his name, right?
No, I'll absolutely say his name. Jermey Guthrie's pissed away a lot of games.
No.
Yes.
I want a reliever that comes in when you're in between innings and Buck Showalter goes, hey, that's it. I'm going to the bullpen. Thanks a lot. And they bring in the guy. You go, this fucking guy again.
No, I don't have anybody like that.
You do. No, you don't have to say his name, but you can tell me that you do.
I really don't. I really don't. We had great guys.
With the Orioles bullpen, you're telling me there's no guy that you went, ugh.
No, I mean, we've blown some leads, but I've blown terrible leads too.
By the way, this just in from Matt Frost, sportrobe.com. Orioles surpassed the Rays in attendance this year. You averaged 21,943 people a game. The Rays averaged 18,374.
Here come the Rays!
A game. Let me tell you a funny story about Mark Shapiro. You got a second? I was in Cleveland with Kenny Rhoda, who's a local radio guy, really sweet guy, and he goes, hey man, Slam man, come to the game with me Sunday. I go, okay. So we go to the game, it's noon. No, it's a little, probably 11 a.m. because the guys are still out there playing pepper and stuff. And Mark Shapiro comes down and he starts speaking. He introduces himself to me and Kenny Rhoda.
Big guy, huh? Jack.
And there's this little old Spanish Latin man. And Mark Shapiro this guy's like 90, 95, old, and starts speaking perfect Spanish, like any GM should be able to. Just like, I can't speak Spanish. And the old man's like, and it was Einar Diaz's grandfather who came in from Panama. Einar Diaz at the time was the catcher for the Indians. And his grandfather flew in. He had problems with his visa. Finally, on death's door, he gets to the United States. What's the name of the stadium?
United States of America.
United States of America, Jacobs Field, and he's going to finally see his son play. And Mark Shapiro explains all this to me, and that's what they were talking about in Spanish. I go, how amazing is that? At 92 years old, this guy finally is able to leave Panama, get his visas together, and he gets to see his grandson, his only grandson, play Major League Baseball. Mark Shapiro goes, yeah, but Einar's not playing today. What?
Hey, hang with him. Maybe next life.
He goes, it's Sunday. I go, yeah, but you just told me this whole story. This guy was on a raft. He had to get to Cuba and then he had to fly. He had visa problems. He got sent back. And then you just spoke to him in Spanish. Maybe that's the Sunday you let Einar play in front of his dying. He goes, no, it's Sunday. I'm not letting Einar play.
Well, there's always next year.
There is always next year. I want to ask you, you were an Eagle Scout?
I am.
Is this your podcast badge?
You know, the podcast merit badge is earned by getting on the radio with Jay Mohr and putting your podcast on iTunes.
What was the hardest badge to get as an Eagle Scout?
You know what? Wilderness survival is a tough one because you got to go out there and camp and you got to build your own shelter. And I sucked. I don't even know how to use a knife hardly. I did not thrive in Boy Scouts, although I gave everything I had to get that Eagle Scout. And I had to go out and live in a shelter for 2 days. That was tough.
2 days is nothing.
I know, but it sucks when you.
What's harder, minute and a half on the catwalk or living in a shelter for 2 days?
1.5 on the catwalk, especially if you're running fast.
I can do 140. I'll do 150 on the catwalk, guaranteed. I got a gut.
This is gonna be hilarious.
You're a world-class athlete.
I'll film you on the catwalk. We'll post it
on the catwalk.
Oh, we'll get that on the stadium sound. Little Right Said Fred, one hit wonder.
I'll do it. I'm telling you, man, I'm a real athlete.
Little thing on the catwalk.
Merit badge, the Wilderness Survival.
Wilderness Survival is a toughie.
Was it hard getting people to come to the wilderness with you, knowing that you were going to probably be singing Backstreet Boys in the tent?
It was at Boy Scout camp.
Yeah. So, how many of the other Boy Scouts were like, yeah, O-Town, sing it, let's do it. Let's sit around the fire.
We're talking 1992. You know who I was listening to in 92?
Celine Dion. Yes.
No, that's pre-Celine Dion.
No, it's not.
You're right, it's not. I did Color of My Love. Love that album. 'Cause I'm your lady. Man, I nailed that note. And it's amazing I'm not singing in a boy band right now.
You got the rhythm.
Is there any glass left in this room?
You had the rhythm of a furnace.
Paula Abdul, Spellbound was huge.
Do you love me?
Rush, rush.
Keanu Reeves was in that video. My wife was in the Hey Baby.
Come on.
She was
Dancing or
10 years old. She was No, she's Paula Abdul.
That's sweet. I used to play Nintendo, listen to that song.
My wife was 10-year-old dancer in Forever Your Girl video. There's, hey baby, pick your head up.
Guess we know we're YouTubing tonight.
What is the worst celebrity pitch you've seen throw out the first pitch? Where's somebody that threw out the first pitch and you were like horrified? Because Barack Obama did a pretty bad job. He was wearing the mom jeans. They were pulled up over his belly. You could see his nuts. It was bad all around.
We had John Wall, and he should stick to basketball.
John Wall.
Didn't
you go to Kentucky? You went to Kentucky,
Yeah,
right?
I went to Kentucky. He needs to stick to basketball.
It was bad?
Yeah. Not good.
Did he hop it?
Yes, he hopped it. It was at Washington, and it was not pretty.
What about at Camden Yards?
I'm trying to think.
Was there anybody that went out there and ran it up there and you went, holy smokes? Like they were good?
Ed Harris wasn't bad.
Really?
Yeah, Ed Harris brought a little, Houston, we have a problem. You got a nice little fastball.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's nice. I've thrown a first pitch out twice. Once I was doing, was it Pluto Nash, Matt, that we were filming up in Montreal? I believe we were filming Pluto Nash and the Expos were still in Montreal and Matt Frost hooked me up to go throw out the first pitch. And they go, so this is how, when you throw out the first pitch, there's two different ways the team goes about it. I've done it twice and I've seen both sides. For some reason, the Expos, it was like meeting the queen and these are the do's and the don'ts. And make sure you don't sit and cross your legs with the bottom of your foot facing the Philly fanatic. It upsets him. And it's going to be in French and in English. If you could do us a favor, if you could walk, don't step on any of the lines, don't touch the chalk, the Expos were like complete, it was like you were walking into the CIA headquarters. And then you get out there and there is literally 1,200 people in the audience. There are 1,000
packed at Olympic Stadium.
At Olympic Stadium, which is like the biggest place you've ever seen in your life. And they have AstroTurf on top of the AstroTurf so you don't mess up their AstroTurf. The place is a shithole and there's still like tobacco stains in the outfield from where FP Santangelo just spit it out all over center field. It's a dump and they actually took like shitty grassy AstroTurf and laid it where you can't stand on the mound, so you stand in front of the mound. And then I threw it and I was so nervous because I'd never done it before. I didn't hop it, but it wasn't good. It was way high, just a bit outside. So then me and Matt, my stand-up agent, we go into the tunnel and they go, so now you're going to come in and meet the Expos. Vladdy was still on the Expos.
Oh, Henry Rodriguez, the O. Henry bar?
I don't remember.
Good talk.
But yeah, they were playing the Reds and Ken Griffey was on the Reds, Barry Larkin, Sean Casey was Matt's favorite player at the time. The mayor, Mayor McCheese. So the lady goes like, that's where I'm going. So the lady goes like this. So now, you get to go in and meet the Expos. And I go, whoa. I'm just sticking to the itinerary. You guys made a really big deal that I was going to meet the Reds. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to fucking meet, these guys like the Expos. Half of them are just going to be out of the league. They had a good catcher at the time, the blonde kid that AJ Prznisky punched in the face.
Barrett.
Yeah, Michael Barrett was there. And they had some asshole middle reliever. Do you remember this guy? He goes, let me tell you something. We're all sitting there eating. We eventually got to the Expos room. He goes, anybody can get to the major leagues. And he points to Michael Barrett like Michael Barrett's a fucking piece of shit. He goes, and Michael Barrett looks like Central Casting like at a Happy Days. He goes, let me tell you something. Anybody can get to the major leagues. And he fucking points to Michael Barrett. He goes, staying in the big leagues, gentlemen. That's the hard part. And he stands up with his tray of food and over his shoulder he goes, 8 fucking years.
Who was it?
He was a middle reliever. I forget his name. He was a bum. And he was out of baseball like a month later.
Wow.
Which makes it great.
Pretty good. 8 years.
So we go into the Reds locker room and it's Barry Larkin. Like he's Hall of Famer. And it's Ken Griffey Jr. And Sean Casey is actually Matt's favorite player. Here's something Sean Casey has never heard in his life. Oh my God. you're my friend's favorite all-time player. So Sean Casey is handing him bats.
Take my bat, take my jersey. It's all for him.
He left with he had a suit. He's always been the nicest guy, number 25, right? 21, sorry. So he leaves with 3 Sean Casey. Dear Matt, you're the coolest, bro. Call me. His number's on the bat.
Tweet me.
And Ken Griffey Jr. is there meticulously like a cat burglar. He's stripping that little layer of rubber that's on the bats. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tar?
The bats the paint. He's stripping the paint off the bat.
Yeah, that's not rubber paint.
Because he can make it lighter without that paint. And then he's coloring his bat with Sharpie because to strip the paint off the bat is illegal. And he's sitting there with a Sharpie. It takes an hour to do one. Imagine coloring an entire baseball bat with a Sharpie. It's crazy time, right?
I'm glad you've sold him out now as doing something illegal.
Well,
Now he's not going to make it to the Hall of Fame because he colored his bats with a Sharpie. Jeez. We're afraid. Code 1 of baseball. What happens in the clubhouse stays there. And now you've revealed Ken Griffey Jr. as an artist.
In the...
Well, Lottie freaking da. Little guy thinks he's going to be an author.
Oh, you're rolling doomies at that paper, young fella. And with the 400th pick,
the Blazers select Sam Bowie.
No. So, we meet all the guys. We go to the stadium. Now we're sitting in the first, second, third row, whatever, on the first base side, okay? Barry Larkin gets up. He's hitting second. He hits a double. He gets to second base. He stands up. He points to me and Matt. And in Olympic Stadium, he goes, yeah, what's up, guys? And it's just talking like this. There's no one there. Sean Casey comes up, hits a double, brings Larkin in, and then somebody else hits a double. Sean Casey slides into home plate, stands up and goes, what do you think about that, Matt? You could literally...
He probably grabbed the base out of the bag and gave it to her off the field. Matt, take the base.
He got ejected because he began digging at home plate to try to remove the plate.
That's my bag for my boy, Matt.
The hand to Matt Frost.
To Matt.
So, you're a guy, your career record is 43-62.
Thanks for reminding me.
But here's the thing. Next year, all you have to do is go 20-0, and you'll be a career 500 pitcher.
No, I'll be one game above. Right?
Well, yeah, but it'll.
Well, you know what? I can go 20-1 and still be 500. It's good to have a little bit of slack.
Yeah.
You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself.
You're allowed, someone can piss away your win.
I can't win 20 in a row, but I can win 20 out of 21.
Why can't you win 20 in a row? This is a guy that slept in the wilderness listening to Celine Dion and Paula Abdul in a shelter, not a tent. By the way, what kind of half-assed Eagle Scout training was this? Not even a tent. They gave you a shelter.
I had to build this shelter.
What'd you build it out of?
Twigs?
Human skin? Dead hookers?
You know what I was out there trying to do? I was probably out there in the wilderness messing around. The nighttime came and I realized I didn't have a shelter.
But what was the wilderness? What was this in Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon.
Oh, there's real wilderness.
Absolutely.
Along the Columbia River?
There's fox and all kinds of stuff out there.
You're scared of fox?
Absolutely. You ever seen a fox? Oh, we used to go.
Hey, I married one, buddy.
There you go. Yeah. We used to go.
You married Julie's a fox?
Jenny?
Who'd I say?
Julie?
No, my sister Julie. She's a fox. Julia Lynn Mohr?
We used to go. Is that your sister? Who?
Julie.
Julianne Moore is your what?
Julia.
Oh.
Lynn Moore.
Oh,
not Julianne Moore. Virginia and Julie.
Fox led us out onto the lake one time, frozen lake on.
What do you mean he led you? Like he said, follow me?
No.
Like a fucking magic fox?
He was asking us to follow him on Twitter.
And you're telling me you don't drink, but you're doing mushrooms in the woods and a fox
we were on snowmobiles. We were on snowmobiles.
A fox led us out onto the lake one time.
Have you ever been snowmobiling?
No.
Have you ever met a fox?
Besides an actual animal fox? Well, how do you meet a fox? Do they say hi?
They're sly. They are Sly Stallone.
Is that why
we chased this guy for 10 minutes all over the place, through the woods.
What was his name?
Over the hill and through the woods.
If you had to name this fox, what would you name him? What did he look like?
I'll give you his name. His name's Ice.
Ice? All right.
Yeah. All over the place. All over the place. Iceman takes us through all the trees and he stops. He throws on the brakes all of a sudden and we don't want to run him over, so we throw the brakes too on the snowmobiles. We start spinning out. This fox led us onto a lake that was frozen, but not very frozen because it had only been like below 32 a couple nights in a row. And we're out in the middle of this lake and you just hear crack, 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 crack. I'm like, this son of a gun took us onto a lake and is trying to kill us. We bolted out of there and we haven't talked to him since.
Do you think the fox went out there on purpose?
There's no way he didn't. There's absolutely no way he didn't. He took us all over the place and then stopped right on the lake.
How do you stay positive?
Watch out for fox when you're doing the wilderness survival.
Oh, this is when you were doing your badge?
No, but I'm just saying I was scared of foxes because I had previously been led onto a frozen lake that wasn't really frozen on a snowmobile. So watch out for fox.
What's your phobia?
Snakes.
I hate snakes.
Spiders. I mean, I don't get locked up, but I don't want a black widow in my bed with me.
Snakes are a big problem.
Yeah.
That's why I love Hawaii. No snakes.
Are there not snakes there?
Nope.
I'm sure someone will change that.
No, they won't. You can't.
Well, I hope not.
Can't bring dogs to Hawaii either. No rabies.
There you go.
Well, how do you stay positive and I hate to keep bringing it up, but you are like this anomaly. You're a good pitcher that's led the league in losses twice.
Well, it's a real honor.
I mean, but it's to Oriole fans and to guys that know baseball, they know when Jermey Guthrie's on the hill, when number 46 takes the bump every fifth day, they know there's a really good shot that you're most likely going to win. But somehow the bats turn to ice. What is it in baseball? What is it about the game of baseball that the baseball gods choose? Is it because you met that fox? You just
said they turned to ice, which is his nickname.
Did that fox put a spell on the Oriole bats?
Who knows?
So what we need to do is
you got to take responsibility. 1 year I pitched really bad when I led the league in losses.
18 losses.
17.
The other year?
Yeah, 17.
17 both times?
Yeah, both times I've led the league. It's been 17.
And there's
losses.
some dog shit pitchers out there. You're not one of them.
Well, I was one.
No, you're not.
I was. In 09, I was one.
I'm not kissing you. What was your ERA?
509.
That's bad. All right, then you suck.
Yeah,
in 09, you were terrible.
Yeah, I told you I was terrible.
But like this year, it was 4 and change.
4 and change. This year I pitched much better. I could have had a chance to win, 12 or 13 and lose 10 or 13.
And you were 7-3 at the end of 2007. You were Money in the Bank.
I was.
What are you showing me here? Point.
Well, he's probably showing you 7 and 5.
Oh, nobody listening knows what the hell whip is. I want to get back to this.
Thank you, Matt, for the whip stat.
What was the greatest game? What was the first game you ever saw as a live baseball game?
It was an Angels game. Wally Joyner and crew. Wally World. Mormon.
Wally was a phenom. And he got traded? He's a Mormon, right?
Yep.
And he got traded to the Royals?
Probably. I only knew him as an Angel.
And did you go because Wally Joyner was Mormon?
I went because there was as many people there as there was at the Trop, and I get a ticket for cheap.
Where were you? How old were you? What are you talking about?
I was like 8 years old.
Who took you?
My dad.
God, you could have brought the house down. You said the fox.
The fox. Fox led me there.
Rode a snowmobile on the 5 freeway.
The fox led me down to Anaheim and stopped there, and I felt like I was in the same spot as that frozen lake and going to die. That's how bad it was.
I think the only way to break I think you can get, you're good for 16 wins next year. I'm calling my shot. But you got to catch a fox and let the Dominicans hit it with a bat in the clubhouse.
I got to sleep with a fox in a wilderness survival tent.
No, you're not going to sleep with the fox. You're going to bring it in the clubhouse and let the Dominicans do dirty things to it.
Okay.
Eric Burns told me that you cannot possibly shower at the same time as the Dominican players because horsing around and like flapping their dicks around to them, there's nothing gay about it. To them, it's just like if I punched you in the arm, like they'll just come up behind you and like start dancing naked, like rubbing their junk on you. Have you found that to be true?
I've never had that happen to me.
But have you seen it?
I cannot say that I've seen junk rubbed on anybody.
Have you seen them like goofing off with each other dancing?
Yeah, that happens.
All right. You're a little uncomfortable.
Hey, that happens.
He told me, Eric Burns, he said if you watch Major League Baseball games in the middle of the season, you'll see the Dominican players get taken out for quote defensive replacements, and that's a manager just letting them shower first, so they'll leave everyone else the hell alone.
Hey, I know what? I actually saw you and Eric Burns on a big league flight this summer doing your little
Master Debaters.
There you go.
That's a good
Master
show.
Debaters. I can't find it ever since, so I just saw it one time.
Fuel Television.
That's we go. FuelTelevision.com.
This podcast, by the way, is brought to you by audiblepodcast.com/J. Get a free audiobook and a 14-day trial today by signing up at www.audiblepodcast.com/J. Even if you don't want anything, Just go to audiblepodcast.com/J, and I will get credit for it, and they will reward me. And then we will get Jermey Guthrie back when he's 16-7 next year with an ERA of 9.
Does this guy know how to party or what?
Lee Harvey. Let me ask you a couple questions. So that was the first game you ever saw was an Angels game. Wally Joyner, Mormon first baseman.
Yes, sir.
Wally World. What's the greatest game you ever saw? In person.
Probably the one to finish out our season this year. No, best game I ever saw. Oh,
that was crazy.
That was a good game.
When you knocked the Red Sox out of the playoffs.
We did. We came back in the 9th, 3 straight hits with 2 outs against Papelbon.
So you guys are villains in Boston.
Fuck the Orioles. You know, Jermey Guthrie's a bum. We never should have gotten him instead of Eric Bedard.
That was one of the more exciting days of baseball. Absolutely.
No, you weren't pitching that day.
I wasn't. I was in the bullpen.
They won.
I was yeah, exactly. Unfortunately. But you know what? That was the first game all year that I had sat in the bullpen. It was the 4th time I'd been in the bullpen, but it was the first one that we'd actually won while I occupied a seat in the bullpen. So I broke the streak a little bit down there.
That's probably the dullest thing you've ever said. What's the greatest game you were ever involved in?
The greatest game ever.
That you were playing. Not in the bullpen watching tomato plants grow.
I was just about ready to tell you another one that I was watching.
No. I want you on the field like when you were on the field. And it could be college, high school, when you went, this is really something special.
Shoot. Man.
Right,
greatest game I ever played. You're the guy telling me I need to get on a playoff team. I've never played a playoff game. I don't know. How great can the game be?
You got 1 year left in your contract?
Well, I have 1 year left before I'm a free agent.
And you like playing in Baltimore?
I do. It's a great city.
You're very open about it. You love the fans. You love the place. It's Camden Yards.
Absolutely.
So if you had your druthers, you would like the Orioles to pony up the cash and you want to stay in Oriole for a long time?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm just kidding.
Whoa!
I'm just kidding. No. You know what? It's up to them. There's plenty of places that would be enjoyable. I like Baltimore. My family likes Baltimore. And, I love Anaheim this time of year. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. October?
Oh, shoot.
I noticed. Can I mention what he's holding?
No.
All right. Well, really?
You can do whatever you want.
There's a pair of New York Yankee baseball shoes in your hotel
room. How'd those get in my hotel room?
Now, were those from the MLB Man Cave that you went to?
The Man Cave.
Sounds like a gay bar.
Fan Cave.
Did you go to the Man Cave?
MLBFancave.com.
Right. Where did you get those shoes?
You know what? I have a friend at Nike.
I know you. First of all, let me let you up the hook. Jermey Guthrie, if you follow him on Twitter, JGuthrie46, is an enormous shoe collector.
Sneakerhead.
Sneakerhead. So that's why there would be other shoes. Is that part of your collection?
That is part of my collection. That is a pair of exclusive Nike trainers with the Yankee logo on the heel. And you know what? I needed a pair of shoes that I was going to beat up, destroy, and not care about, and so I put them on.
What's worth more money, $1,000 or CC Sabathia's underpants filled with quarters?
I'm going to go with the underpants filled with quarters.
He's a biggin. How many wins do you think you would have this year if you pitched for the Texas Rangers? How many do you have? 9 this year?
I had 9.
9?
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me, 9. That's your story. You're sticking to it.
Yeah.
I'm doing Chris Penn's dialogue, but I'm not doing the voice.
9, that's your story. You're sticking to it. That's what you're telling me. 9. The guy you just shot did 5 years in a federal prison. You're going to tell me he's going to decide out of the fucking blue to rip us off? Why don't you tell me what really happened, Jermey Guthrie?
Maybe 12.
12 for the Rangers?
Yes.
So you're telling me the Rangers bats are good for 3 wins? I say more than that.
Well, the big difference is hopefully I wouldn't have got 17 losses.
No, you definitely would not have.
Well, that's the key,
What was
right?
your ERA this year?
4.33.
So a 4.33 ERA in Arlington, that gets you 15 wins.
It could.
It will. Next year, you and CJ, 1-2, right there, buddy.
Well, they got to re-sign CJ.
They will. It's going to go CJ Wilson, then you, then Holland, and then
the Dutch oven?
Ike Obaganda, whatever his name is.
Okay.
Don't you find it odd that the Beehive State of Utah always is advertising Dutch ovens? Do you always think about farting under the blankets?
They don't have Dutch ovens there, do they?
What?
Like the ones on the back page of the USA Today?
The Dutch ovens, the whole state is Dutch. Like, come in here, we have Dutch ovens.
Come on.
All right.
I've never seen a Dutch oven.
People in Salt Lake, Utah, you know my peeps, Cougar Valley, please tweet Jermey Guthrie, Jay Guthrie 46.
If you have a Dutch oven.
Photos of Dutch oven signs in Utah. What is You were valedictorian of your high school?
I was.
Did you have to give a speech?
I did.
What was it? Do you remember it?
I did my speech with Jessica Morris. Great
she
student.
Was smoking hot.
Great student.
She was smoking hot. Right?
Great student.
All right. Mrs. Wallace? What was the teacher's name?
Mrs. Wallace.
Mrs. Wallace, Jessica Morris. You got to pick one. You got to pick one.
I went to church with both of them.
That's even hotter. Hey, choir practice. Time to change into our room. Oh, my God. You got to pick one.
I ain't picking none of them.
You have to pick one.
I'm not picking it.
This is a big baseball jinx. You want to start 0-4 next year?
No.
Pick one.
I started 1-0 this year.
Pick one.
It was all downhill after that.
Pick one. You start 4-0. No?
Leanne Wallace?
There you go. Would you rather go to the Hall of Fame having never played in a playoff game in your entire career, or be pretty much the exact same career you have now, be about 10 games, we'll round up. 10 games under 500, you pitch another 8 years, and then 1 October, you're the World Series MVP. Would you rather be a World Series MVP?
Oh, I think I take that.
Or never get to the postseason and be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I like the World Series MVP. If you said just get to the World Series and it's a crapshoot, that's a tough one.
No, I'm telling you, like Scott Brocious, journeyman third baseman, Yankees pick him up, hits 260 his whole life, right? Scotty Brocious. And that 1 October, the son of a bitch just catches fire. He's the Scott Brocious, the World Series MVP. Remember?
I like that. I like that.
Because
Hall of Fame.
Every human being I've asked that question says Hall of Fame. And I don't understand
I like
how
MVP.
You could possibly pick the Hall of Fame. Oh, Matt Frost says Hall of Fame, no question. My wife says Hall of Fame, no question. Jason Stewart from the Jim Rome Show. Kyle Brandt from the Jim Rome Show. Every single person I've asked this question says Hall of Fame. And to me, I'm like, the only Matt's nodding his head. Speak up. Cause no, you're not on mic. Why would you fucking play the game unless the other 24 guys know that you're playing to take them into October? If you're just half-assing it, who gives a shit about October? I'm going to the fucking Hall of Fame. Look at me. You're going to be Ernie Banks? You know what they say about Ernie Banks? They go, there goes Ernie Banks. You know he never played in the World Series?
They do?
One of the greatest baseball players that ever
Get on the mic.
Ernie Banks.
Get on the mic. Well, you got to really...
Put your name on it, Matt. Put your name on it.
You got to get really into it for real.
One of the greatest baseball players that ever played the game, Ernie Banks.
And how many rings does he have?
0.
Get on the mic.
0.
How about Ted Williams?
One of the greatest ball players that ever played a game.
But don't you think it burned Ted Williams' ass every late September that he didn't get to the World Series? Don't you think every time Ted Williams, after coming back from shooting down Koreans, no offense, no, you're Japanese and you're Chinese, right? Are you guys going to be okay? We got a China man and we got a Japanese man in the same room. Is there going to be a fight? It's the peninsula and the island that are the problems, right? The mainland China, everybody just bows down and respects it, right, Ming? No worries.
We all eat rice here. We're fine.
I'm a white rice addict. That's just because I have diarrhea constantly. So you would definitely rather be a World Series MVP.
Yeah, you know what? Rick Dempsey, World Series MVP.
You have any stories about players that played past 1998?
No. Rick Dempsey.
If you're going to give me shit
Rick
about
Dempsey is still living the dream of being a World Series World Series MVP. So
if you were a World Series Hall of Famer, that would be cool. There'd be a Hall of Fame just for World Series MVPs.
They should be.
David Eckstein, World Series MVP, 5'5", 114 pounds. Did you know he was that small?
Laser Show.
What's that mean?
Dustin Pedroia.
Laser Show?
He's the Laser Show.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's his nickname.
Why? Do you know why?
Because he says he hits lasers.
Oh,
Laser
okay.
Show.
That makes sense. And he was he a World Series MVP?
No.
He was MVP.
Just an American League MVP.
He was the American League MVP and a second baseman with those stupid Abe Lincoln mutton chops he walks around in.
What's a mutton chop?
Speaking
of mutton chops, how about Shaquille O'Neal's face with the big chops? What does it look like?
Jermey Guthrie is on this podcast because he's a fan of the podcast. He's a good sport. And he got really excited and happy when I was killing Michael Jordan for having a Hitler mustache in the Hanes commercials. And I posed the question, what's a worse facial hair faux pas for a black athlete? Michael Jordan's Hitler mustache or Shaquille O'Neal where he had sideburns and no other hair on his head whatsoever, so his face was always in parentheses. And that for some reason, that's never left your head.
Oh, shoot.
I got other questions for you. So the greatest game you were ever in hasn't happened yet.
I don't think so.
A couple years from now,
absolutely
when
has
you're in
not
October.
happened. Has not happened.
Best manager you ever played for? We know Buck's great. We know Buck's a Hall of Fame manager. Who's a manager you played for?
Well, he's the best manager I've ever played for.
What makes him so great? What separates him from just every other guy?
You know what? I love the way he talks baseball. Always talking baseball, and he's always concerned about everything imaginable. He'll be out.
He's a micromanager?
Absolutely. He'll be out in left center field while we're hitting batting practice, and the pitchers are out there shagging, catching the balls.
Shagging meaning having sex with other baseball players?
Yeah, exactly. Shagging meaning picking up the baseballs, Jay. And he'll be wondering...
This podcast is huge in England, so you got to clear this up.
He'll be wondering how we're going to fix like the burnt piece of turf in the bullpen where the catcher always sits, and so it has a little hole worn into it 2 hours before the game. How are we going to fix that little piece of turf?
Wade Boggs played third base for the Yankees, and who was the shortstop
and
right
for
before
the, and
Jeter?
for the Rays?
It was like Mike Gallego. No, he was but Buck Showalter. I forget who was. I don't think Wade Boggs played with Buck Showalter. Did he, Matty? No. But the left side of the Yankee infield was like piss poor range wise. Like Mike Gallego was like 5'5", and the third baseman, I forget, was not very good. The grass was an inch higher on the left side of the infield.
Oh, really? He just cut the left side longer?
So he was that guy.
Absolutely.
He was the guy that went out there and said, well, our guys don't have much range. Keep the grass an inch higher.
Hey, attention to detail. But I like that. He's always thinking, how can we get better? How can we do something better? And I appreciate that.
Tony Fernandez.
Have you ever had a manager where you were like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Absolutely. Want me to name him?
Yeah. You got to name somebody.
Put your name on it.
You're not going to say who it is.
Why would I put my name on that?
Why don't you write it down, and then later I'll work it in naturally into the conversation. But I'll say it. I'll give you my word. I'll say it with two other names. Therefore, no one will know which one I really mean. I like in the book, I told you on audible.com, I got /Jay Mohr. Just go to the site and do it, and then they're going to give us a lot of money to make a really high-end titsed out podcast.
Hey, am I doing as well as Kevin Nealon?
You're doing way better because you're a dick. You wrote Jay Mohr on the piece of paper. Why would you write it down?
You see, you already broke your promise. You said you'd say two names. It was a test. I said one name. The one
you have failed. You brought great shame.
He what? He lied and he failed.
You bring great shame to podcast.
Come on. You don't know what movie I just quoted to you. One of my all-time favorites, License to Drive with the Coreys. Holy crap. What a movie. What a movie.
Now,
Mercedes Lane.
If you could share a room in spring training with Corey Haim, assuming they're both alive, Corey Haim, that really is the key to enjoying spring training, is being a living person. Corey Haim or Corey Feldman, you can only room with one Corey for all of spring training.
I choose Corey Haim in a heartbeat because I love the little laugh he does, right? When he gets he passes the driving test. You're in luck, Anderson. The cup was empty. He's like, by the way, that was Uncle Phil in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air playing the DMV guy when he passed his test. I like Corey Haim. I like the little laugh he does.
So your dream scenario is going to...
No, it's not my dream scenario.
No, I didn't say what it was yet.
No, well...
Your dream scenario would be going to pitching for the Anaheim Angels, and in between World Series games, going to an NSYNC concert with Corey Haim.
No. Come on.
What?
It's a lot of random things you just threw into one assumption.
Yeah. It's all one giant assumption.
No, that's not right. None of it's right.
You love NSYNC.
Yeah, but not with Corey Haim.
Why not? You just said you liked him.
I don't know if he likes him. You got to go with someone else that likes him.
So you go with Dave Risk.
Dave Risky.
Oh, you know what? That might be the best plane I've landed in podcast history to pull Dave Risk out of my ass. What? Do you have any superstitions before you pitch?
You know what? I used to eat a hamburger before every start, matter what.
I don't like when people try to mix food into their superstitions, like, Wade Boggs is a fucking crazy person. Before every game, he eats fried chicken. That just means he's fucking hungry and he likes fried chicken. That's not a superstition. It's not exactly like having, what's the guy from Major League? Abu.
You know what? Lucky for me, I lose enough that any superstition I may have gets washed away because if you keep losing, you just keep switching and then you never have a routine.
So you would think if you led the league in losses twice, you would stop coming out to Justin Bieber.
I told you I pitched 4 scoreless to Justin Bieber. I only came out to him once.
Yeah, but there's 9 innings in a game.
You know what?
My nuts, 4 scoreless. What about the other 5 innings?
No, I went 6 scoreless.
You just said 4 scoreless. And 7
I
years
was up
ago,
4-0.
You're up 4-0.
After 6.
And then what happened?
We lost.
So then how could Justin Bieber be the guy you keep coming out to?
Because never say never.
Why don't you come out?
I came out to Unchained, so your suggestions from here on.
Off the table.
Yeah, it sucked.
It doesn't suck.
7 earned.
Well,
what?
It's not because of the
guaranteed
song.
a win.
I also get Sport Robe did the trick for you too.
Well, yeah, but you didn't even guarantee that. That just
I will
happened.
say this: when you downloaded my podcast, you won 3 in a row. That's a fact.
No, I downloaded your
That's a
podcast
fact.
in July and lost plenty in between.
Bro, that is a fact.
That's not a fact at all.
I'm gonna get you to curse.
I downloaded that thing in July.
When you told me you listened to it, I tweeted you private message that you won 3. You haven't lost. I don't want to jinx it, but you won 3 in a row since the podcast.
No, you talked about the robe.
No, you got a no decision.
That's
in the robe.
sportrobe.com.
What song can you pot? What do you think? Opening day. Let's say you're the Orioles opening day starter. Celine Dion.
No, opening day next year. You know what? I'm going to go with the hot hen. It could be a number of things. There's so many songs that are going to come out between now and then.
Lady Gaga.
It could be. I used to come out to Poker Face.
Really?
A lot of wins to Poker Face.
A lot. You had 9 wins in the whole season. You're telling me
no, that was 3 years ago.
Oh, 3 years ago.
When I got 10.
You're a good pitcher. We're going to get Jermey Guthrie 14 wins next year. No doubt.
Well, 14's a lot better than 10.
No, 14, I mean, because they're going to piss away a lot of wins out of the bullpen. This is Jay. I'm saying this. Jeremy knows that he's got a quality bullpen. It's my job to be the snarky guy on the other side of the mic. But you got to take into account, I'm going to say 14 because 3 of those wins are going to get pissed away by some guy. And then the other ones, Nobu. You're going to tell me Nobu can't hit a curveball?
It's Jobu.
Jobu. I asked you earlier what the guy was called.
Nobu's the
sushi
restaurant.
I'm just trying to, play to your strengths.
Oh, thank you very much.
Who has the worst superstition on your team that doesn't involve food? I have a superstition before games for a while. I ate a hamburger.
My biggest superstition is the night before I like to eat a nice dinner.
No, tell me a real wacky one you saw.
A wacky? Well, we don't have many wacky guys. There's a few guys that won't touch the line and got to pound their glove a couple of times when they cross the
Paul O'Neill would touch his cup 3 times.
There you go. We have all kinds of that stuff going
for
on.
Every pitch. That's a lot of touching your touch your penis.
He's touching his cup.
But you guys don't wear cups.
Sir, we do. Yeah, we do.
I thought football players don't wear cups. Baseball players have to wear cups.
Baseball,
right?
We don't have to do anything you don't want to do. It just depends how you want to protect it.
Now, when did you stop using steroids?
You know what? I never used steroids, but I did color my bat with a Sharpie.
He's an artist. That was the best line. You just outed Ken Griffey Jr. as being an artist. Who's your favorite artist? John Singer Sargent? Matisse?
The one formerly known. My favorite artist?
Prince?
I don't have a favorite artist. Ken Griffey? 600 home runs?
You have no rituals before you go out.
I really don't. You know what? I told you.
Make something up. What are you, Kevin Nealon now?
No, I'm not sitting on the massage chair.
That was brutal. Tell me some stories about Dominican players.
I'll tell you my favorite story about a Dominican player, and God rest his soul, Jose Lima.
Lima time,
baby. Lima time. I pitched down in Dominican in 2006. This is the off season that I was released. Went to a Justin Timberlake concert with David Risky. Had the night of my life. Came back and became an Oriole a couple days later.
How many games did you lose in the Dominican League?
Oh, I didn't lose at all. I was money.
So I think we found your niche.
I'm on a Dominican.
You just got to
Aguilucho soy.
Yes.
Desde chiquitito.
You just got to pitch to Latin people.
Oh my goodness. I'm down there, Santiago, in Lima. This guy, best guy ever. Honestly, he's like the best teammate ever, best guy ever. We're down there, and he sang with this group called Mambo de Lima, maybe. And he would be in the clubhouse 5 minutes before the game started, singing the song with the music blasting and singing along with his song, and then bolt out and go pitch a gym on top of that. He pitched great. But my favorite story about Lima was a couple of gringos, myself and someone else, were walking down the street outside the team hotel. It's a very rough part of the city, and Lima comes down in his H2. his big Hummer, and it stands out like a sore thumb. Everyone else is driving either a bicycle, a moped, or a broken down Fiat. And he comes down and jumps out of the car, and he goes, "Gringos!" He's double barreled with 2 pistols in each hand, just pointing into the sky. He said, "Go home to your house, gringos!" Jumps back in the Hummer and just rolls off. I'm like, Jose Lima just got out of his car with 2 pistols.
Like Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, Yosemite Sam comes out, tells us to go home, jumps in the Hummer and drives off like everything's normal.
Did you have to have any at-bats against him?
No, I did not.
That'd be pretty intimidating, though, that if I get a hit off this guy, he's going to shoot me in the parking lot.
Jose Lima for you, though.
If you could bring one person back from the dead, Corey Haim or Jose Lima, to bring to an NSYNC concert.
Jose Lima.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Lima time.
Lima time. We're in Kansas City, 2005, I believe. My best friend from LA comes out. He wants to watch, he's coming out to support me, watch the Indians versus the Royals. Sunday morning.
Jeez, what a barn burner.
What a barn burner. It was sold out.
Because the schedule said they had to.
Yes, sir. The Royals that year would have the guys, or at least this game, would have the guys come out. David De Jesus.
From Rutgers.
Rutgers, I didn't know that.
That's
Scarlet
right.
Knight.
That's right.
They would have guys sign autographs in the stands before
that's a terrible idea.
Before the game begins.
People start grabbing on him.
So Jose Lima's in the stands, and my friend, I look over at my friend, I said, "Hey, go talk to Lima," because he had been with the Dodgers. My friend's a diehard Dodger fan. I said, "Go talk to Lima." I point him over there. Gets in this long line, probably 50, 100 kids, and he finally gets up to the front. Or he skipped in front of everybody because he just wanted to talk to him. He didn't want an autograph. He didn't want a picture. He goes, "Jose, I'm a big fan of yours." And he goes, looks at him. He's like, "Hey, thanks, bro." He's like, "Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a Dodger fan." He said, "You did something for this city that nobody did for 10, 15 years. You won us a playoff game. And my daughter was born that night. I was in the hospital. I watched you pitch a gem CG, and you brought us a win." He's like, "Wow, what a night." He says, "What a night, man, what a night." And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "You're my favorite pitcher ever for the Dodgers." And this guy, Lima, just completely stops signing autographs, completely ignores every 5-year-old kid trying to get an autograph, and just keeps looking at him like he's reminiscing. "What a night, what a night." He says, "You were unbelievable." He goes, "Yeah, what a night, what a night."
And he just stopped signing autographs.
He stopped signing autographs and said, "What a night," maybe 50 times. And my friend just kept feeding the fuel in the fire. "Lima, you were unbelievable. You brought LA to its knees that night. What a night. What a night."
He was on the Jim Rome show and he said to Jim Rome, "If I win 20 games, I'm going to give you my 20th win." Game ball.
Uh-huh.
And he did. And he won 20 games. I think it was the only time in his career he won 20 games. And he wrote to Jim, "Lima time.
Lima
Believe
time."
it. Lima. So what's looking ahead? When you guys start, when you report, pitchers and catchers go early to spring training.
Middle of February.
You guys, baseball's a tough hustle. I always thought I'd wanted to be a Major League Baseball player, and then I'm friends with Mohr, and then every time you talk to the guys, in a mall in a different city, just killing time.
Absolutely.
The amount of travel is brutal.
Ton of travel.
When you just sit on a plane with these guys, aren't you there's got to be guys, you're like, oh my God.
No, the plane ride, we play a ton of cards. Everyone, there's a little card game going on.
I like cards as much as the next guy, but I got to think 4 years of one organization, I want to get traded just for new faces on the plane.
Yeah, good point.
Oh man, if I could just be on the Tigers and play with Max Scherzer instead of Pad 5 something.
Man, I'd love to play poker with Max Scherzer on a flight.
You ever had any crazy plane stuff where you guys thought the plane was going down?
No, thankfully, no.
You guys fly probably every 4th day, pretty much.
No, every week. Oh, shoot. Yeah, you're right. When we're on the road every 3rd or 4th day, and then we're home for a week. So.
And no problems. It's always easy going. Is it a charter jet? Does it say Orioles on the side?
No, we don't have that.
I heard you guys fly in the Led Zeppelin plane, the original OG Led Zeppelin plane.
The Tigers do have their own plane, though. They share it with the Red Wings. Has a nice Tiger plane on the side.
Does it say Tigers on one side and Red Wings on the other?
No, it says Tigers and Red Wings on both sides, I think.
They should have Tigers on one side, Red Wings on the other, and then when they fly over, they would have to barrel roll to accommodate where most people's eyes were watching. People sunbathing on the shores of Lake Michigan. So what airline did you guys usually fly on?
Continental.
I flew in there last night. I took the red eye here to be with you.
Well, thank you.
Well, this is a lot of fun, brother. And you're the first sports person we've had on the podcast, and it did go well.
Hey, well, I'm proud
that's
to
what you're
be
going to
here.
ask me as soon as it's over.
Well, you know what? No, I'm just going to assume it went bad and I picked up my 18th loss.
No, I'm telling you. 16 wins next year. What did I say? 14?
No, it's up. It's going up. Keep talking. 18 wins.
I got to find. Look,
well, Jay, let me make the same promise to you. If I win 10 games next year, I'm going to sign the ball and give it to you.
No, it's 15.
If I win 6 games next year, Jay, you will have that game ball.
I'm writing it down right here.
Put your name on it.
Jeremy wins 15 games. That's next year. That's not to say you don't lose 22. You go out like oil can boy.
This is a one-sided promise. I'm not talking anything about losses.
Next year, that'd be what, 2012?
Yep.
I'll put my name on it right here.
You got it. 15th game win ball. The scorecard, the jersey off my back, and the ball are all yours if it happens.
You that for real?
All of it. All
Are
of
you
it.
serious?
Pants too. Keep the jock, the cup, the glove.
I don't want any of that stuff.
The hamburger, I'll barf it up for you if I have a lucky hamburger in my system.
Where are you going to keep this note? Let me ask you this. Carl Crawford was like the best player one of the best players in the American League. Then he goes to the Red Sox and he just takes a giant shit in his pants every time he
It might
plays.
have been that lingering effect when we tried to pick him off and hit him in the midsection.
You can't even say nuts?
Well, I said nuts earlier, but
can I get you to swear?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not going to do it on a podcast.
Why? It's only up forever for free. It's not like everybody's going to hear it.
There's a lot of people listening to this podcast.
It's only 500,000
Jay.
people that get it for free.
There you go.
You won't just swear.
500,000 downloads? What do you think we'll be at?
This one?
About 15, just like your wins.
You won't just just say shit.
Come on.
You don't think right now your teammates are going, do it, man?
They don't care.
Is it just, all right, you know what? Will you say something for me before we leave?
Write it down.
Huge Orioles fan. You know, there's a comedian that's a huge Orioles fan. First of all, the general manager of the Irvine Improv, which is probably Brea
Improv.
Brea is fun, but Irvine is like crazy fun. A lot of disposable income. People are very wealthy there. They come, they party. They come to like 3 shows in a row. Dan Godfrey is a Baltimore guy, huge Oriole fan, big fan of yours. And also the comedian Ryan Sickler is a huge fan of yours.
Ryan Sickler? He's the worst comedian in the world. Period. Ryan Sickler's the worst.